I just want to play football and be left the fuck alone. Period. And if people that don't understand that don't fucking know me. People can say whatever they want, but truly, I don't give a fuck besides playing football and winning football games. I give my whole life to this sport every single day. I'm here every morning. My alarm goes off at 4:55, and I am driving 35 minutes across town in an empty, dark building, doing the same thing every single day, trying to help my team, trying to help myself. People can talk all they want. People go on Twitter. I don't even see half of it is news to me. I just care about playing football.
All right, so yeah, you can see that Maxx Crosby has finally clapped back about all of the rumors of him not saying anything about Jay Glazer and the trade talk and yada, yada, yada. And he has made it pretty emphatically clear that all of that is just a bunch of noise. He hasn't said or indicated anything. Now, with that being said, we also got this clip from Klint Kubiak.
Maxx Crosby is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. He's a leader in this building. He's a no-brainer piece that we want moving forward in our organization.
So as you can see, Klint Kubiak is also saying that Maxx Crosby is one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. He is a special player, and he really enjoyed his first conversation over a cup of coffee at like 6 o'clock in the morning in the building because Maxx Crosby is there by 5:30 a.m. before anybody else enters the building other than the food staff who has to get in there to feed him breakfast every single day because he is that dedicated to his rehab and the perfection of his craft. Now, I have said it on this show before that I do think that there is a possibility now more than ever that the Raiders trade Maxx Crosby. And the reason being is there are some really good defensive ends in this year's draft like Arvell Reese who can do it all. He can play defensive end. He can play off the ball linebacker. He is a guy that could even line up safety if you needed to. And he will be available at the second overall pick. And I think that that's probably where he would go. If you were to trade Maxx Crosby to the New York Jets, you would get that pick. And therefore you would be able to reset this franchise financially and further upgrade your salary cap to go out and deal with some very serious issues in the offensive line, the defensive line. You go and you get a guy like Arvell Reese. I think right off of the gate, Arvell Reese is going to be able to give you probably 90% of the production what Maxx Crosby gave us last year without the big payday. And that being said, I don't believe that the Raiders will be trading away Maxx Crosby, and here is why. Number one being that Maxx Crosby himself is in that building every single day. He has not held out. He has not decided to unfollow the Raiders or anything like that. He has continued to say he bleeds silver and black. Number two is that Klint Kubiak thinks very highly of him. And I believe that Klint Kubiak wouldn't make the statements that he made about Maxx Crosby if he was intending on having John Spytek trade him away and pick up a young, unproven player who I do think will be a star in the NFL in Arvell Reese. Therefore, I don't think Maxx Crosby's days are numbered, at least now, with the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that Klint Kubiak is going to be looking for some stability on that defensive side of the ball, and he's going to rely on Maxx Crosby to help bring that every time. However, I also believe that Maxx Crosby's style of play, 98% of all the snaps, etc., I think those days are numbered. He has racked up injury every single year for the past 3 years in a row. And you have a new head coach who, again, he played defensive back in college. He is an offensive guru when it comes to being an offensive coordinator. But remember, his original background as a player was on defense. He is going to look at Maxx Crosby and he's going to say, listen, Max, you can't play 98% of the snaps, even though your number is 98. The reason why is because we need you at the end of the season. And for multiple years in a row now, you haven't been there because you keep getting injured. And you're getting injured because you're wearing your body down. You got to start protecting yourself. You're not 23 anymore. You're not 24 anymore. You're pushing on that age barrier of, hitting 30 years old here pretty soon. So we need to protect you from yourself. That means you're only going to pay 70% of the snaps. That's still higher than most defensive ends in the NFL. But he's going to have to learn to accept that. He's going to have to come out of games. He's going to have to take a rest and then be able to go in there and be full speed ahead. I think he'll be more effective that way. I think that if you put him in that position, he'll actually end up with more sacks and pressures because he'll be more effective. If you look at it, in the actual games, Maxx Crosby's only being effective 50 to 60% of the time. And if you were able to take him out and reduce his snaps so that he's not so tired on some of them, he'll be able to use that high motor engine that he has to overwhelm left and right tackles wherever he ends up lining up and all these stunts and stuff going on the inside, etc. He'll have more energy to do that. And so I think that Maxx Crosby, the way that he has played and had his way, is now coming to an end. He's going to have to listen to Klint Kubiak. He is going to have to take some snaps off. And I think a guy like Klint Kubiak is going to come in with the pedigree to be able to tell Max, listen, you're going to sit down. He wasn't able to do that with Pete Carroll. And I think Pete Carroll, being too much of a player's coach, allowed Max to do that, and it just ended up hurting him. That's why he's walking around on crutches today. So, long story short, I don't think that Maxx Crosby is leaving the Raiders right now. I still believe there is a possibility that John Spytek and Tom Brady decide otherwise. Because no matter what Coach Kubiak says, at the end of the day, this is John Spytek's team to build. And John Spytek's going to do what he feels is best for the Raiders. And if that means that moving on from Maxx Crosby and getting a young Arvell Reese at pick number 2 from the Jets makes sense, then you go ahead and you do it, especially being that the Jets have 2 first-round picks. You go ahead and now you're sitting there at, you're picking up Arvell Reese, so you got your immediate replacement, or you get Arvell Reese and you get, another one this year, or you get Arvell Reese this year, you get Fernando Mendoza, and then you get another draft pick in the first round from the Jets next year. That's a really good package. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, that'll never happen. Micah Parsons deal. Just saying, when you're looking at Micah Parsons, you're looking at Maxx Crosby, 2 of the best in the league. Yeah, that kind of deal could absolutely happen. And when you're looking at the New York Jets, I think that deal could really happen. However, I don't think it's going to happen right now because I think that Maxx Crosby is going to settle into Klint Kubiak's new head coaching of the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think he's going to request a trade, and I think that everything's going to be A-okay. Once we get into free agency, we pick up some studs, we spend a little bit of money, and we draft Fernando Mendoza, and Klint Kubiak is able to put together a winning organization. But the real question is this. I've been making these videos for a couple of years now, and you guys have always been the biggest reason why. I love the comments, even the ones that are hating on me, and I know I'm going to get some comments about my bug eye sunglasses right now in this video. Bring it on. I'm not scared. I love it. I love some more of it. But do me a big favor. Comment what do you think right now about Maxx Crosby, because I want to know. Should the Raiders trade Maxx Crosby for 2 first-round draft picks and a compensatory pick down the line and maybe give up a 4th-round pick and send Maxx Crosby to the Jets and we get Arvell Reese or some other player? Or is Maxx Crosby still the face of this franchise? Comment down below, like, subscribe, everything else, and I'll see you in the next one. Daily Rumble Sports.